Hi, it's Uncle Larry. You may have run across those who love offering opinions about practically anything. They always have an opinion to offer, always something to say. In addition to merely expressing their opinions to anybody close by, of course, these days now they have social media platforms. They can do this all day and all night, promote their opinions for likes and clicks. As a defender of expansive free speech, I believe these folks have every right to do this, by the way. I also believe that people like this generally swim in the shallow end of the pool, although not all. If you're asked for a point of view and your response is, I don't know enough yet, or I'm still assessing that, or I'm undecided, it can be rather frustrating for those who have an unhealthy craving for certainty. The concept of an opinion is not a single thing. I thought of 4 different variations. Number 1, it might be just an informal judgment about something not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. It's just my opinion, so the saying goes. So an everyday conversation type of thing. 2, it might be a piece of advice offered by an expert on a particular subject. 3, it might be a lawyer's advice on the merits of a case. It might be a dissenting legal opinion. 4, might be a medical diagnosis which requires a second opinion. So as you can see, it's pretty complex. But today I'm just focused primarily on those everyday conversations, everyday opinions based upon informal judgments. However, I will include among those certain pundits who are literally paid to express their points of view regularly in print, radio, TV, or new media. To me, it's an awful job. During my radio career, I was the host of 2 successful talk shows, well, successful by rating standards at least, even though I didn't think I was very good as a talk show host, and I still don't, at least not in the conventional sense, okay? When I was getting started, of course, I reached out for advice and got a ton of it from people who were in the game, some of whom were quite experienced indeed. Don't be beige, thundered one fellow host. State your case in no uncertain terms, advised another. Never ask the audience what it thinks. You tell them what you think, said another. And finally, conflict equals rating, so your job is to stir the pot. Well, I found this baffling. If this was the winning formula, something I had to do every ruddy day, I was doomed. Yeah, I had perspectives on matters I knew something about, but I tended to take my time at arriving at them. Even back then, I was cognizant of the fact that perspectives change as new information presents itself. As a matter of fact, I can think of at least 4 different issues I have completely changed course on during my adult life. And as a lifelong learner, it might happen again. Although it does get harder as one gets older, you should know that. So back then, I knew I had to be myself, at least be true to myself. I decided to go against the grain of this advice on how to do a talk show. So when I had a perspective to offer on air, I certainly did, but I also did ask the audience what it thought. And I loved the interview process, which allowed me to pick the brains of people who were way smarter than me, which was pretty much everybody. And somehow, I got away with it. Ratings were solid, and it laid the floorboards for my ascension back into morning radio, where I was more comfortable. Now, you may think that overly opinionated people are generally less informed. Remember I said they swim in the shallow end of the pool? Well, not everybody. It's not the whole story. Not by a long shot. This is also true of highly qualified individuals who can veer way off the mark when they opine on matters outside of their area of competence. For some, their academic or professional expertise has somehow left them feeling entitled to claim themselves as an authority on almost any subject. I'll give you an example. A well-known Canadian political scientist tweeted what I thought was a pretty ridiculous observation. It was way outside of his field, and I called him on it. He was enraged, but instead of answering my objection, he proceeded to list all of his academic qualifications. Essentially, he attempted to out-credential me, as if that was the end of the matter. Needless to say, I was unimpressed. When it comes to arriving at opinion, here are a few suggestions. Take your time. Hesitation is not a sin. Don't be afraid to say you don't know enough yet. Recognize the contingency of your opinions and accept the possibility that subsequent events or new information could cause your perspective to change completely. And please, please, please don't follow other paid opinion makers like gurus. Don't do it. They're going to be wrong about half of the time. And always buttress your own opinions with the best available evidence. It's hard work. And finally, it's not lost on me that this very essay is an expression of an opinion, so to that end, take it or leave it, and just get on with your day.